Today we will discuss about the derivation of shape functions for beam elements. So basically, if you have a beam, if you have a beam, and if you are going to discretize it, you are going to discretize it. So two, three, four. So each one of this will be element 1, 3, and 4. So now we have 4 elements. If you are considering any one element, so if you are considering any one element, let us consider element number 1. Discretization, if the discretization is done by a beam element, if it is a beam element, then how would the shape functions be? Okay, so if this is a beam element, so this will be having 2 degrees of freedom. So we are dealing with 2-dimensional beam element. So this will be having 2 degrees of freedom. So we have 2 nodes. So in each node we have 2 degrees of freedom. So in beam elements, what are the degrees of freedom allowed is, so in the transverse direction we have a transverse displacement, and a rotation. So in each node we have 2 degrees of freedom. One is the transverse displacement and the other one is the rotation. So if you are calling it as Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4. So we have 4 degrees. In each node we have 2 degrees of freedom. So totally we have 4 displacement components. So out of that 2 are transverse displacement and the other 2 are the rotations. So this is a beam element. Now for such a elements we want to derive the shape functions. What is the displacement model that we are going to adopt? So for defining such a elements, the displacement models that we are adopting is what it is known as a Hermite shape functions. So it is of like this: hi is equal to ai plus ba zeta plus c I zeta square plus di zeta. So it is of a cubic equation, higher order higher order polynomial. So it is of a cubic polynomial. So this function is called as Hermite functions. So we are adapting for the displacement model as a Hermite function. Now here we want a shape functions for this in the natural coordinate system. The shape function in natural coordinate system. So what is the boundary condition then? So we have to consider a table for the boundary conditions. So how would the table look like? Okay. So here we have our I is equal to, so how many displacement components we require, it depends on that. So in each node we have two degrees of freedom. So two nodes. So in node 1 and node 2 there are two nodes. So our degrees of freedom will be 4. Hence our I value will be equal to 4. Okay. So our I value will be equal to 4. Now as we all know, that is with respect to natural coordinate system, you want to derive the functions. For that we'll consider h1 and h1 dash, that is the derivative of h1, and again h2 dash. So with respect to node number 1, we have q1 and q2. q1 corresponds to transverse displacement and q2 is the rotation, and which is nothing but the derivative of the displacement, transverse displacement, that is a slope. We can call it as slope. If it is y, it will be dy by dx. So it is a slope q2. So here in the node number 1, so already we know that when in the natural coordinate systems, what does it say? In natural coordinate systems, the zeta will be equal to 1 at the node number 1, and in all the corresponding nodes it will be 0 whenever we are looking into the particular node. So whenever we want to concentrate on a particular node, the zeta value will be equal to 1 at that particular node, and in all the corresponding nodes its value will be 0. So here if you consider zeta is equal to -1, and this one zeta is equal to +1, and this is for node 1 and this is for node 2. This is for node 1 and this is for node 2. Here the value of zeta will be equal to 1. It will be 1. q1, the value of zeta is equal to 1, and in the node number 1, that is associated, that is h1 associated with the slope, that is h1 dash. So h1 dash will be 0, that is q1 and its displacement, that is a q1 and its differentiate h1 dash, that is the derivative, must be equal to 0. Next will come into the rotation one, that is q2 part. In q2 part, what is happening? So that h2 value, that is the displacement value, will be equal to 0. q2, that is the direct transverse displacement value, will be equal to 0, but the slope will be equal to 1. So h2 dash will have the value 1. The meaning is that zeta is equal to 1 for the node which we are considering, okay, and rest of the nodes it will be 0. So that is why if you are considering node 1, so what will be the value of h1? h1 we have 1, and h1 derivative we have 0. For h2 we have 0. The derivative of h2 is 1, because slope is nothing but it is the slope. So derivative should have the value 1. Okay. And what about in other nodes, that is h3 corresponding to q3, h3 dash and h4 and h4 dash. In all the places it will be 0. Okay, zeta can take the value 1 in only these two locations. Okay. So in the similar manner, if you go for the node number 2, you will go to node number 2. So if you go to node number 2, so what happens there? Again, in node number 2, h1 will be having 0, h1 dash is also 0, h2 is also 0, h2 dash is also 0, because all these h1, h1 dash, h2 and h2 dash corresponds to node number 1. So you have 0 value all over there. Okay, so now you come to h3. So what happens in h3? In h3 is nothing but the q3, that is a transverse displacement. So you can take this as value 1, transverse displacement q3, that is value 1, and h3 dash is the transverse differentiation of the transverse displacement, that will be equal to 0, and h4 is the again the transverse displacement of q4, that is not required, and that is also going to be 0, but h4 dash is for the slope. We want the differentiation of h4, so there you get the value 1. So like this we can have the boundary condition table. So boundary condition table for node number 1 and node number 2. Okay, boundary condition table for node number 1 and node number 2. Okay, so this is how the beam element, okay, one single beam element will be having this particular boundary condition. Okay, so further proceeding with the problem, so if you consider node number 1, since we have I is equal to 4, that is I is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose I is equal to 1. For I is equal to 1, our h1 value will be equal to a1 plus b1 plus c1 zeta square plus d1 zeta cube. Okay, so this is the value for that is the here what we are supposed to do is we want to solve this equation, that is we want to determine a1 value, b1, c1 and d1 value. So in the material what I have shared, I have solved this equation stepwise, and we have determined the value of a1, b1, c1, d1, that is for I is equal to 1. So that we will get a1 value we are going to get a1 is equal to half, b1 is equal to minus 3 by 4, c1 is equal to 0, and d1 is equal to 1 by 4. Okay, so after substituting these values for a1, b1, c1 and d1 in this equation, that is for h1, whatever the displacement model we have adopted according to the Hermite shape functions, after finding out this we'll get that if you adopt this and solve this, you will get h1 is equal to 1 by 4, 1 minus zeta whole square, 2 plus zeta. Okay, so this is the shape function 1, that is we have 4 shape functions for the Hermite shape beam element. So here out of 4 shape functions, this is h1. So likewise, if you substitute for I is equal to 2, our equation h1 will change this into a1 b a2 b2 c zeta c2 zeta square and d2 zeta cube. Again, upon simplification according to simultaneous equations principles, we will get a2 b2 c2 and d2, and again substitute those coefficients value. You will get h2. h2 is another shape function, that is 1 by 4 1 minus zeta square and 1 plus zeta plus 1. Okay, zeta plus 1. Similarly, again I is equal to 3, we will get h3, and if you substitute a3 b3 c3 and d3, you will get h3 also. h3 is equal to 1 by 4 this is 1 plus zeta square 2 minus zeta, and h4 is equal to 1 by 4 1 plus zeta square zeta minus 1. Okay, so these four shape functions are the required Hermite shape functions what we require for the beam element. Okay, so this is the 4 shape functions. Now in the material what I have shared, I have stepwise solved how we got this a1 b1 c1 d1. You can go through that, and in any arithmetic textbooks you will find that what are the steps to solve that. Okay, so and to keep this in memory, that is a 4 shape function, it is very easy. So for all the shape functions you will get 1 by 4, that is it will be there, and in the brackets you can see that 1 minus zeta whole square 2 plus zeta, and the same thing repeats for h3, that is 1 by 4 1 plus zeta square. So instead of 1 minus zeta it will become 1 plus zeta square, and 2 plus zeta it will become 2 minus zeta. So like that change will be there for the sign, that's all. In case of node number 1 and node number 2, this is for this is the transverse shape function for node number 1, this is a transverse shape function for node number 2. This is the slope, the rotation for node number 1 and the rotation for node number 2. Okay.